Okay, so good morning, everyone. Good afternoon in a couple of cases. Lovely to see some of you from the retreat at Dharna Kosha last week. Lovely to see everybody else too. Uh, so the usual format from my end. So a few minutes of input, a Dharma nugget of some sort, and then we'll meditate, which I'll lead about half of the meditation for about the whole thing will be about 40 minutes. And then about 10 minutes left for to hear about your practice, how it's gone, any comments. So yeah, I was remembering something that happened on my first time in Burma, first long retreat there. I had 3 months and had a lot of tension. I have a lot of tension generally, chronic tension, but it was yeah, in a way, it was a chance to have somebody else have a look at it. So I was telling U Tejaniya about it. And at some point he said to me, he said, don't try and don't try not to try. And this completely did my head in. It's like, don't try and don't try not to try. What do I do? Which I think was the point. But yeah, I found a few thoughts and a feeling of fear. I mean, in a sense, that this was my precious time, my precious 3 months. I didn't know if I would ever get back to Burma or have another opportunity for a long retreat. So the thought in me was, but what if nothing happens? If I don't try, what if nothing happens and I waste this opportunity? That was the fear. And recognizing that in awareness helped. It really helped that I had some sort of agenda to get something out of the practice. And you may think, well, that's fair enough. It could have been a once in a lifetime opportunity. In fact, I have been back, but I was also reminded of something Bhante says about mindfulness practice. He says we need to learn to enjoy mindfulness for its own sake. We need to enjoy mindfulness for its own sake. So a certain sort of faith, I think, is needed that we don't have to immediately necessarily see results, and particularly if we have an agenda about the sorts of results that we want, because in a sense, enjoyment is an immediate result. But I think it can be easy to be caught between a sort of trying to do the practice and getting tense or frustrated at that point, and then going to not trying, where perhaps we get lost in stories or aren't quite sure what to do if we're not trying. So we lose that middle way of simply being present, but where we're cultivating awareness, we're cultivating right view, and we're leaving the mind alone enough. I think it is a very helpful skill to get the hang of how to leave the mind alone, to not always be interfering and trying to direct the proceedings, but really see what the heart mind is doing in its natural state, if you like. So relaxing into awareness, coming to presence naturally, and getting really familiar with what that feels like, this natural sense of awareness. Recognizing when awareness is naturally present. It might be a fairly sort of rudimentary kind of awareness or quality of awareness, but once we get familiar with what it feels like to be present, then we can gradually sort of build up its qualities through our noticing. So there are these two sort of main aspects, I think, to the quality of mindfulness, the quality of awareness. So the relaxation, the ease, allowing, and the soft, light qualities of mind. And we want some awakeness, alertness in that presence. And that gives the mind some flexibility, and this feeling of being really alive. And along with these, what I think is really a helpful part of right effort is a sort of patience and persistence. We keep going, we keep checking the mind, keep checking the quality of awareness. And that will lead to a consistent sense of presence, a consistency, a continuity in the awareness. And that in itself will bring out the enjoyable qualities of awareness. At any time, tune into the quality of awareness and see if you can notice that those pleasurable aspects, that it's actually just pleasurable to be present, regardless of what we're present to often. So in Burma, I did work with this head twisting paradox that involved letting go of controlling the outcome, of being too worried about what I might go home with, and this thinking about what other people might ask me about my time there. And I let go into a simpler way of practicing in the way I've been describing it. Simply involved with the moment and setting up the right conditions in the moment. And then I could really easily see that actually already there were benefits and rewards from the practice. So my fear of nothing happening was very easy to let go of after that. And the rewards I could see were mostly sort of around seeing and knowing the mind more directly, more easily knowing the mind, watching the mind more directly. And that led to more clear seeing. Little moments, aha moments, just came sort of thick and fast when there was consistency of mind watching in a relaxed way. And this, of course, increased my faith and confidence in the practice and my ability to practice. And that in itself eased tension. So it's not that it's all gone by any means. I think that it's a various complex sort of conditions in my own mind and body, but it was enough to be able to practice more effectively, if you like. Okay, so that's all I have to say this morning. So if you'd like to set yourselves up for meditation.